Good morning, everybody. Welcome into this PM and the AM show live on the Edges Philly Sports Network. And I am, woo! Did I wake up on the right side of the bed for once? Because,
This is whose bed is it?
well,
What was his name?
hey, it's their name.
yes,
I'm sorry. What was their name? I'm sorry.
keep your zipper up and mouth closed there, Mike.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You should follow your own advice.
Yeah.
Is that how we're going to start this morning?
And don't twist it because that's something that could be painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And roll. Never mind. I'm about to go down the.
People who are watching just spit out their coffee.
Yes.
Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning, Michael.
I feel like the other people are like they're holding their coffee up to their TV or their
Yes,
computer. Dude, seriously. I think that's what we should do. We should make a graphic of you, and like that's a new T-shirt. Just you holding up coffee, saying, "Dude."
Yes. That's
I'll pose.
Good morning, Al. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good now, thank you. I need a good laugh to start today.
Well, that's what we bring here. We bring good laughter, humor, and tons of fun stuff. And that's
Yeah. Chop weight, buddy. Relax with that tons of fun stuff.
well. Let's get it on.
Hey, our boy Deems is checking in this morning. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Come on, Dimes.
And I love it. Let's go Hawks! Absolutely, we're all Hawks fans for a short time right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen. The title of the show is "The Teamwork Makes the Dream Work," and apparently, the unsung heroes of this Philadelphia Phillies team has come up huge. Friday night, where did we start with Emma Sosa coming up big in the ninth? Even his defensive plays, he hits that game-winning shot. Puts the Phillies over 4-3. The same score yesterday, but Nick Castellanos finally getting a homer. He hasn't had one since August, and not only one, but he had a multiple home run shot. And then you had Christian Pache with a nice homer. So again,
Yeah, that's the guy that they said couldn't hit.
yeah. And I listen, and Joe.
Listen, I'm not sold on him just yet.
Yeah.
Let's not get carried away over one. The wind was blowing just right at the time too.
Well, listen, there's no wrong with blowing the right way. So
Yeah, and listen, that ball went. Listen, if he just made it, like if it was like Castellanos' second home run, I could see you say that dude put a charge in the one. Like
I'm not taking it away from him. I get you.
Like, listen, you never know too. Like the Phillies hitting coach is one of the best in the game.
Too long, yeah. He really worked.
Long is one of the best in the game. So maybe he saw a flaw in his batting style because listen, the kid's been, boom. Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yes, Dives. We're gonna get all in this.
And you're absolutely right, Dives. I mean, that's
the hair's quiet today. Yeah.
Not me.
No. You've been there.
Like
Mike.
Toby.
Yeah, look, he's the Terminator now. But anyway,
Him and PJ, boy. Ooh.
This year, I would say Tobias Harris reminds me of how we felt going into the season with Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
He could be, he should be, and the only difference between him and Jalen Hurts was who was getting paid a lot more at the time was Tobias Harris.
Right.
And I think that's always everybody. I don't think anybody's really hated Tobias Harris. I always thought it was the contract and the money. And yeah, listen, him and his dad came at the right time. I think I said this on my other show the other night. Him and his dad came at the right time and made the right ditch effort because they lost Jimmy Buckets. They had to salvage Elton Brand is trying to salvage this whole thing and said, all right, we're gonna sign Tobias Harris, and Tobias like, I want a max contract.
Right. So, but look, like I said, we are going to get all the Sixers conversation, but I got to talk about the big game from Nick Castellanos. 2 hits. Now, Mike, should this guy be moved up in the lineup? I know you and I had this conversation. Or is he comfortable here?
Keep him right where he's at. With all his struggles that he had a year ago, and if you guys want to go back and watch our show from, this time last year when he was struggling and everything else, I kept telling y'all, be patient. This dude is a hitting machine. I said his power numbers are going to come. I said, but the one thing you can definitely rely on with him is he is a doubles hitter. He's gap to gap. And right now, like, I'm sorry, but to me, he's one of the unsung heroes of this Philly season right now. He's doing his part. We need other guys to start doing their part. Like, where's JT Realmuto at?
Him and Schwarber, both big names, both who
are struggling. Now, Schwarber's starting to get some swings.
They're both choppy. Like, they can come in and maybe have a 1 or 2 hit game, and then they're cold for 3 or 4
Even
games.
Trey Turner a little bit.
Trey Turner, too. He's
getting a little cold.
Yeah, he's been up and down, too.
Yeah, but he's still batting almost 300. I think he's 295.
0 and 4 yesterday. Schwarber 0 and 4 yesterday. I mean, pretty much like I said, but it was like you were just saying about Nick Castellanos. He's perfect. I guess he's in the perfect role where he's at now, that fifth spot. He's just, like I said beforehand, he's got that plate discipline where he's just reading pitches, coming across the plate. He's not fishing like he was last year. He's making great contact. And now the balls are leaving the park. He's a double machine. He leads the league in doubles. He's the first MLB player of this year right now who's reached the double digits in doubles. I mean, he's doing everything he can right now, and like you said, he's the most consistent player right now on this team.
He is, and listen, I'm looking.
I don't know. Would you say
Stott?
I think Stott has to
there.
be number one.
Stott
But if you're going to say top 3 consistent players for you, you got
Stott,
Marsh,
Bohm, and Castellanos. Marsh
is up there.
Marsh
I mean, Marsh is still batting at 359.
Yeah, and I like it. And he was another one they gave up on.
And by the way, I think they're listening to us. They're listening to. Did you see the lineup yesterday?
Yeah, it was.
Turner, Bohm was at second. Schwarber still sitting at 3, but Castellanos at 4. Remuto, Sosa. I would have probably moved Marsh up, but maybe they're trying to spread out the hitters a little bit, so it's not like hitter, and then like 2 or 3 guys aren't hitting.
Yeah, and another thing,
still one of the best batting averages in the league by that.
Now, I think the Phillies are doing what they need to do to stay afloat, and I'll tell you what, the pitching's starting to come along too. Like you're starting to see the starters get stretched out a little more.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see Nola go 7 innings the other night. I am worried about his velocity. I am.
Yeah.
Because his velocity, now don't get it twisted, he still had the one bad inning, which it just happened to be the first inning.
Yeah.
And then he kind of shut them down after that. But between him and Wheeler, I honestly think as the season goes on, they're going to get stronger, which will be great.
And that's the one thing. Like the one goes with the other. Like if they start out bad and then they wind up calming down to start pitching, the lack of offense is not there to support these guys, and that's the part that hurts them. It's just like, okay, like you said, Nola has one bad bugaboo. There's the offense that doesn't come up for him. But that's, like I said, it's got to come in time, and look, the other day was a wake-up call because you had this Colorado Rocky team coming in here with 8 straight losses and shuts us out for like the 3rd time in a row.
Pat, that happens.
Well, like I said, but then this offense woke up on 2 back-to-back wins. So, I mean, coming up clutch, you're getting guys off the bench who are facilitating and making some clutch plays for you guys. It's a nice thing to see. And by the way, speaking of Brandon Marsh, he is leading the league in offensive production. 4 triples, 6 doubles, 23 hits, 13 runs,
hit machine. Plus
11
speed doesn't
RBIs.
hurt.
Yeah. Now,
here goes one from Dives. Castellanos, the last 7 days, a 357 batting average, 2 home runs, tied the league. Yeah, and hits 1,000 OPS. Nick has been incredible.
This is the Nick Castellanos that I told you we were going to be getting.
I think you talked about this going into the season. We sat there and go, I'm not listening, and it's a baseball. They're going to get hot. They're going to get cold. It's just how cold they get and how long they stay cold is the question. But, we said they're going to work with him in the offseason. They're going to help him slow it down. You could see his plate discipline. It's a number. The numbers reflect it, but it's not a number that they can quantify. Mm-hmm. And his plate discipline has been extraordinarily better. And I wonder a little bit, has the pitch clock helped a guy like him out?
Maybe because
good point.
Because you're figuring now they got to throw the ball quicker, so they're, they can't shake off pitches as much as they did now, and that's been like one of the biggest common denominators. But my main thing right now with this Phillies team right now, the one thing I am impressed with this Phillies team is this bullpen.
Yeah,
this bullpen, like when you watched it, the first series of the year when they played Texas, you were like, good God, what did we get ourselves into? You want to talk about guys righting the ship? Let's talk about Gregory Soto. Let's talk about it. This dude has been dominant out of the pen really since that first game. He's been good. Sir Anthony's been good. Alvarado's been good.
Much better. I mean, Sir Anthony, we all got real nervous. There were a lot of gulps in the beginning, way early in the season. Yeah. But did you hear what Tomper said to him? Mm-mm. Tomper went up and goes, He said it was just a confidence issue. He went up and said, "You're a World Series pitcher." He goes, "The run that we had, how deep we won, how close we were winning to a championship, was off the back of your pitching." And ever since he said that, he's been on a tear.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Just
what.
goes to show you how mental of a game it is.
And then, how about Kimbrel too? Like, here's the guy that we thought was shot dead in the arm, and I know you're not sold on him, Al, but
No, I'm with you on that. I thought again the pitch timer was something that with his whole little bird arm.
Yes. I still can't get over that.
But my point, here's a guy who takes his time, and I thought it was going to take time for him to get used to it. And I don't. He's definitely not Craig Kimbrel of past, but if he can be a solid 7 guy or even 8 when we need to, I'm okay. Could you imagine if you have him at like not the top of his game, but pretty damn close to it at 7, Sir Anthony or no, not Alvarado at 8, and either Sir Anthony at 9 as your closer. Like them all at the top of their game. Who's hitting that?
nobody. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and like everybody, like if you take a look at all the pundits right away, it's the Braves are out. The Braves are out off and running. Good, let them run because the Braves are not going to sustain this.
And they're not really running away with it,
dude. They're 4.5 up, and with the Phillies having all the issues,
yeah, we're not even above 500 yet.
Yeah, I mean,
we're working out all the kinks out.
If you're 4.5 up, you're only a few games above 500. Yeah. I mean, listen, you look at the Mets last year; they were running away with it at the beginning. I mean, they were up 12, 14 games on second place. That's a different story.
And the Mets did the Mets.
Yeah, they Mets it all up, as we call it.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you're looking at it though, like I said, I looked at just the playoff teams from a year ago, right? Atlanta and the Dodgers. Well, no, not even just Atlanta. Atlanta's the Atlanta and the Mets, the 2 teams ahead of us. They both have 14 wins. One has 8 losses, one has 7 losses. Okay, so they're still battling. But those 2 teams, they're the only 2 teams in the National League that have a winning record from the playoff teams a year ago. St. Louis is 8-13. San Diego's 11-12. The Dodgers are 11-11. And the Phillies are at 10-12. So I mean, that just goes to show you, like, I'm not saying that those teams are going to be there. Like, come on, dude, who would have picked Pittsburgh to be 15-7?
Right, and that's they always start out hot.
I mean, look at Tampa. Who would have picked Tampa?
Yeah,
on the
that's why I said yesterday on the post-game show. I said, who thought that Tampa would come out on fire like this? Nobody had them on their radar.
I don't even think Tampa thought that was.
No, they were already thinking about fishing.
I'll tell you what, like the team, the team that I'm really impressed with so far this month out of the gate has been the Rangers.
I was going to say, they almost had a guy hit 4 home runs in last night's game.
Yeah,
I mean, does it make you feel a little better about the beginning of the season for us? How they hit us up, like, I mean, they got
perfect timing.
They got a good coach. It was at Bochy.
Bochy. Yeah,
that was a big difference maker for them, I think.
Mm-hmm. So
go pound sand.
I mean, like I said, the Colorado Rockies team, they've always been like one of those teams, like we've always mentioned about how the Pacers give the Sixers the fits. Like this has always been one of those teams that always give the Phillies the fits. It's something about them. I don't know what it is. They've always been a problem. Charlie Blackmon's always been a problem. And look, he hasn't been much of an X factor. I mean, he only had 1 home run so far in this whole series. So, but we're going to see what this Phillies lineup could do today. Now, unfortunately, it sucks. It's going to be on Peacock TV. So,
just so you guys know, it's free usually on Peacock. You just got to download the app.
Oh, it's got to download the app.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not paid for because Peacock, I believe, is a free app. You can watch not everything. You can watch certain things, but there's commercials in it.
Right.
But you could pay the $5, $10 or whatever it is and not get the commercials and get the extra like WWE stuff and whatever else have you.
Yeah.
I have Peacock.
It's free. You just got to, I mean,
you just got to download it.
For guys like us, it's nothing, but I feel bad for like older people, like, who want to sit there and watch, like, I don't do apps.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I don't
just download the app on your smart TV.
I don't understand.
Right.
That's one thing that's really kind of grinds my gears a little bit.
Yeah, it really chaps my ass.
Well, what chaps your butt is your business.
I always thought it was your chaps that chapped your ass. Oh, then again, he uses assless chaps. So then again, that explains it all.
I thought all chaps were assless. But anyway, No, but like
Not this chap over here.
yeah, obviously. But I miss the days of like 29 or 17 carrying the game. Where you listen, not to be, I'm pretty sure Pat's about to get excited, but you throw some dogs on the grill, throw some burgers on the grill, and you grill them up, and you sit back and you have a barbecue day, and you watch the Phillies. Now you got to do these different streaming apps, which, by the way, like it doesn't compare to live TV because you're at least 30 seconds behind the real
I'll tell you the
action.
pluses, though. Okay, as a guy who's, I'm a tech nerd. We all look around me. I mean,
Right.
this is my normal setup.
Yes, this is a great
You can watch the
laboratory we
game
got
any-
here in
you
the
can
studio.
You can watch the game anywhere.
Well, that's my thing. Is like I out back my house, like I have a grill out there. I'll do that, and I have a pop up. One of those normal like 10 by 10 pop up tents. It'll set up out there. I'll put a TV under there, and I have a little Wi-Fi extender I bring from inside the house, put it right outside, and I just stream it out there and watch TV. So you don't have to like.
That's what I love about baseball.
I prefer being outside when watching.
Yes,
baseball.
I mean, like you got
Just
like you guys said, the grill going. The lawn mowing guys are running out there. The kids are having a
is that
good
what
time.
you go with the lawn mowing guys? Hi, boys.
Yeah, you're sitting out there with your man hammers hanging out. You're watching the great game. Oh, and speaking of, Mike, you got me excited because you know why you talk about hot dogs. You know what Tuesday is? You pumped up?
Dollar dog night.
Dollar wiener night.
Yeah,
You can load up.
Listen,
Tons of meat in the mouth.
listen.
All right, here he goes.
Dude, look at the
Why-
level.
Who
Look at
wound
the
him up
level.
this morning?
No, I had to bring up hot dogs.
Oh,
But no, listen, like seriously, like dollar dog nights are usually pretty fun. I used to go with a friend of mine. His name is John. You know him as Corky.
yes.
Like that is pure entertainment. Like my boy, I kid you not, my boy would run around majority of the game. He wouldn't be there for the game. He would run around. He would get 2 gift bags from the gift shop,
Yeah.
the clear bags, and he would fill them up with hot dogs. And
Really?
my man would have dollar dogs. Like because he knew he got some kind of trick that he found out how to preserve them.
Right.
So he would preserve them.
Those things are preserved. There's 2 things that'll survive a nuclear blast. It would be cockroaches and hot dogs.
Yeah. Well, listen, he found a way with bun and all, would sit back and he would
Calm down there.
yeah, and he would do that. And like the Phillies would go on a road trip and I'd be like, hey man, what are you having for dinner? Oh, dollar dogs. And I'm like, but like he would take
like a lot of places, I don't know if they all do it. You used to be able to go give me 10 and
now it's 5.
now they had to top it off at 5.
Yeah.
I wanted one day because I think we should do an EOP hot dog counter.
Mhm.
Oh,
And just like go to the game together and have one of those board where we could keep changing the numbers. And just every time you eat a hot dog, like this group of guys,
You should just do it just for him.
they do it on like where like they have like the pitch count and all that stuff up all around the arena, around the park. They have a hot dog counter. How many they sold? I mean, think about it. They sell like 15 to 8. It says 15 to 18,000. So they sell $18,000 in hot dogs. Let that sink in. If you went to the store and bought $18,000 hot dog and then sold them for $1 a piece, you would make about half that.
right.
If just in profit alone. These guys are buying them by the pallet. All right.
Yes.
So they're making like 3. That's just for dollar dog night. So just think about what they're really making on a normal hot dog night.
Doing a hot dog, they charge 5 times the amount they do on.
Right.
So you figure you're getting paid $5 for a dog, and then you're going. That's the best night to go, though, man. Really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because I remember Super Bowl day. Me and my buddy Eddie, we went down there for a Flyers game, and it was dollar hot dog.
I heard you scarfed down like.
Oh man, I was just taking one after another, just
See?
chomping it down.
Then he had the hot dogs.
Yes.
Sorry.
But anyway,
Softball.
I gotta get this back on the rails here. But
I'm like Tobias Harris with layups right now.
yes.
All right, question. Now, this should be. I think the Phillies should win pretty dominant today. I mean, they got Wheeler going, and they're going against Jose. Was it Urethra?
Yeah,
Urena.
Yeah. Urethra.
Same difference.
This is urethra. How you doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the dude's got a 9.82 ERA. He walks more than he. And he's got an 0-3 record. Like if the Phillies can't beat him today,
Yeah.
what's up, Dom? As long as there's no work the next day, I'm down for a hot dog.
I'm saying we do an EOP trip. We find out dollar dog night. Do a little EOP
There's
trip.
one
down.
more after this.
There's plenty. I think they added a bunch this year.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
there was only 3.
They usually do.
They gave you the first
They do
3,
2.
I think.
They do 2 in before June, and then 2 in like late August, September.
All right, we'll
But
have to take a look at that and
but
see which one we want to go to.
I say we go and we just that way this big old EOP dog counter.
Mm.
We'll have one. We'll have two. One for us and one for Pat.
Yeah.
I love. You might as well give me a bib. But anyway, the Phillies line up
Is that what
today.
they call them?
So
Sorry, I'm on a roll today. I'm sorry.
You got the Phillies line up today. You got Stott leading off, Turner going second, Schwarber going third, Castellanos batting cleanup, Marsh for fifth, Remuto's batting sixth, Baum seventh. I don't like that.
Bum. You called him Bum. Hey, Bum.
I don't want to call him a bum.
Yeah, I know.
What's on your mind?
Clemens batting eighth and Sosa batting ninth.
Cody's getting a start today, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if Roger's going to be in the house.
Rocket.
No, it's something to switch that up, putting Turner a little further down. You have him Baum all the way up batting second. I think you might be hurting yourself there. Then again, you're talking about a pitcher, like you said.
This guy throws back.
If you think of yesterday, Stott didn't even play yesterday.
No.
So
he was off.
You got Stott, Bohm. I would do Stott, Bohm.
Is Schwarber playing? You said Schwarber's batting, right?
He's probably.
Yes. Schwarber's batting third.
Is he DHing?
No, he's playing left field.
Who's DHing then?
Bohm.
Oh, Bohm is DHing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they had him at first.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Is Remuto playing?
Remuto's playing batting sixth.
Because they're off
tomorrow.
That'll be the first. So I mean, I'm trying to remember the first last time they had off day if it wasn't for the rain, the home opener or the delay between games on the season opener. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. Is Sosa in that lineup? Do they have him play?
Yeah,
Sosa's batting ninth. Right. Let me ask you guys too, and I've been catching. I made this post and tweet the other day, and I've been catching mixed reaction. I want to ask you guys before I switch into the Phillies. I mean Sixers, and I know it's kind of like old news, but I haven't really talked with you guys about it. What do you guys think of Ruben Morrow being your play-by-play guy? I mean, I've been like I posted because I really enjoy it. Like every time I hear him, like he always brings he has like great things to say. He's got great preparation working about players. Like I like his X's and O's, believe it or not. About players and stuff like that and batters. Have you guys? Has he grown on you guys yet, or not really?
I mean, I like him. I mean, I used to listen to him when he was on. He used to be on the morning show a lot with Angelo.
Right.
Yeah,
and I mean, like he's a very knowledgeable guy. He's a smart guy. He went to Stanford.
Right.
And he knows this organization. I mean, he's
from a GM point too.
Well, I mean, dude, he was a player here.
You're right.
He started as a bat boy. He was a bat boy. Like you want to talk about a guy who's probably held every position with this. With this, I mean, here's a guy who got.
He was a base coach. He was a coach too. So he technically had every position.
Yeah. Like he literally left. He's probably done most of his coaching and playing. He's done in the Phillies uniform, so he knows a lot about this organization. So, and like I said, he's really good. I like our announcers. I really do.
Yeah.
I think T-Mac is a great play-by-play guy.
People really roast him a lot, though.
I'm
not saying it's right or wrong.
Right.
I just think. Listen, talk about.
Look, you're looking for Harry Callis.
Well, that's my thing. Is like
nobody's going to replace him.
No.
What's her face? Kate Scott.
Yeah, she's growing on me.
I mean, anybody coming in behind these guys, that's a hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about the Flyers guy that the guy who's going to end up replacing Coatsy to work with Saunders.
Right, and that's going to be hard. So, all right. Well, listen, it's time to talk about. You pull out the brooms, get them out, because how does it feel? Two New York teams get walloped by a Philadelphia team. Once by the Eagles smashing up the Giants, and now we go into Brooklyn and get the brooms out and mop up. It feels good to me. In a matter of 4 months, we annihilated a New York team, two New York teams in a matter in playoff terms. So, but anyway, let's take a look at this team, because yesterday, again, it's about the teamwork, making the dream work, because without the big guy, this team really, really played well. You had Tobias Harris put up 25 points. You had Maxey playing very, very well in the first half. You had James Harden just facilitating, drawing fouls. He was doing it all. And then, PJ Tucker directing defensive traffic and telling, just being a real good, solid presence there. And then, of course, Milton just lighting up the fourth quarter. So, Mike, what's your takeaway from all this?
Paul Reed had a really, really, really disciplined game yesterday. He was disciplined. He didn't really
They
get.
said he was the first guy at the gym yesterday. Like Allah said it during the I don't know if which when you broadcast you watched, but he said he came in and he heard one ball bouncing and it was Paul Reed.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had a good game. I thought Maxey had a really good game, but you know, you got to talk. If we're going to talk about yesterday's game, you got to talk about Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris yesterday was just on fire. They couldn't stop
Yes.
him. And listen, like Brooklyn threw everything at the Sixers. Like they had the lead. Like they kept going. Like the Sixers, besides being up 2-0, the next time the Sixers had the lead was at 54-53.
Right.
So you stop and think 2-0 all the way up to 54 points. But basically the Nets had the lead. So the Sixers the one thing I got to give it to them, man. They had a killer instinct yesterday. They went for their juggler yesterday and was just like, that's it. Like you guys are done.
And the funny part is you bring that up. Like you were just saying too, like the Nets had their game plan of shutting down Embiid. Okay, well now that Embiid took a break out because they have to get physical with him. They're trying to get in his head, which they did Thursday night. We all saw it when he hit the Shattered Dreams on Saxton. But now, okay, you misplaced him. You now what do you want to do now? Because now Sixers still have multiple answers they're going to give you. And like you said, Tobias Harris, 25 points. The turnaround jump shot in the paint. And then, James Harden he had that killer instinct in his second half, like where he said, "You know what? I'm going to ice this game right now."
That pass to Paul Reed.
Oh my gosh,
unreal! When he went underneath the guy's legs.
Yes, and the behind the pass, just where he catches them blindsided, and like you said, B-ball Paul just taking command of the paint. So again, the Nets really didn't have an answer there. They were blank.
Big ball Paul, B-ball Paul yesterday.
Is it playoff Paul now? Is that what they're calling?
Rebound Paul, rebound Reed.
He had a double yesterday. 10 points, 15 boards yesterday.
He had 8 offensive rebounds yesterday, and it was like mid-third.
Yeah.
Now listen, you're like, he's a center. He's supposed to, but that just does not happen in today's NBA. It just doesn't happen.
He ended up with 15. I'll tell you what, Tobias Harris also,
he's my player of the game by far. 25 points. I mean, he steals, blocks, rebounds. I mean, you can name all the numbers.
Harden was 3 away from a triple-double yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, he almost had, he would have had 17, 11, and 8 he finished with. I mean, just going off of what, looking at the stats here, like, you go down, like, how about, Anthony Melton? He played 27 minutes, 15 points.
Yeah.
He was hot. He was really good.
He started hitting that corner shot left and right.
Yeah, and they, like I said, for them to just find guys on the perimeter wide open, and it was just like this was all the Sixers. And again, the Nets
took their heart, man. They took their heart. Like when I felt like they took the lead and the Sixers got up. Once they got past the what was it when they were tied at 70 apiece. Once the Sixers went on that little bit of a run right there, it just took the sails out of the Nets. It was just they were done, and it was like, okay, they're done. You know it now. But I'll tell you what, them sweeping really, really kind of it kind of helps them a long way because now Boston's got to play an extra game. Even if Boston wins today, they're only up 3-1.
So they got to play.
They got to play 2 more games, and God forbid if Atlanta wins.
My question is if say they win the rest of the series out, that means they would win. If they win today, then they would play Tuesday, I think, right? So say Tuesday they win it all. When would the Sixers then on the weekend?
Probably Friday.
Yeah, it'll probably be a weekend matchup for next week.
Probably Friday, Sunday.
Because my question kind of leads into what everybody's thinking, and I don't know if you guys I read on EOPsports.com Austin Krell's article. He did a lot of deep diving into Joel's injury, and Doc was kind of some things Doc Rivers said really makes things sound very ominous. You know what I mean? Listen, I understand because as a coach, the 3 letters you don't want to hear is MRI. The fact that it's behind the knee, the fact that it's swollen right away, that really makes him nervous. I mean, you see these kind of injuries all the time. You know, the writing's on the wall some days, but they're saying it's a sprain. So the longer we really need the Hawks to pull another one out. If they can take this to 6 games,
Where they got to play Thursday.
yeah, that could be. That means then they probably wouldn't play till at least Sunday
or
Monday. That would be huge. That means we would go about 8, almost 10 days.
Right, and that would take time for the inflammation.
Yeah, and from them doing any treatments and whatever have you, because it's like, come on, man, we can't catch a break. I get. Here's my thing is, there was a couple people online saying it. I get really annoyed sometimes when a team does well, and sweeps the team for the first time since '91, I believe it was, and it was the first 4-game sweep since like '85, and the people just, oh well, the Nets sucked. They didn't have any superstars. They didn't have this.
Yeah. So here goes our man Dives checking in again. He gets super excited about Paul Reed, Tobias Harris, but let's be real, the Nets offense is straight trash.
Right. This is what I was getting into.
Here comes the big butt.
This is what I'm getting into. You play who you play, right?
Yes.
I mean, people were doing this during the Eagles. Well, the Giants sucked. Yeah, we know that, but they made it to the playoffs.
Right. So they
won a playoff game to get there. To fight to go against.
And they had all the hype going into it.
I know the big challenge coming up is Boston. Always seems to have our number. Always seems they hurdle, if you want to call it, against them. But my point is, if an inferior team, and this is the thing is, so if we were a 1 spot, we're playing a really bad team.
Yeah. Speaking of number 1, how the Bucks looking right now? They're down 2-1 in their series to Miami.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge for us. Even if that game, whoever comes out of that, it's probably going to go 6 or 7 games, I think.
I mean, dude, just the fact that they won, it's going to go at least 6.
Well,
they're going to go 6 games.
The most thing I'm really, there goes our man Fuji. What's up, Fuji?
Fuji, you're selling programs there? Where are you selling programs at? I
you're at the programs?
I want to know.
But here goes one I do like. Okay, so you lose your big man yesterday, and the team still rallies up and around and saying, and I got to give Doc Rivers his credit. He probably went, you know what? Let's finish these guys off. Let's give an extra break. Give the big man some time to heal up, and let's go win this. So, and that's what they did. They played great team basketball yesterday, and I loved every minute of it. And how about this, though? I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the stat now. It's the first sweep that the Sixers have won since 1991. How about that? I mean, they lost in the second round and to the Bulls, and that's when obviously the Bulls go on the run. So, I mean,
listen, a lot of people, I remember that series. If I remember right, I think the Sixers lost in 6 or 7. And a lot of people in the NBA, I remember leading into that series, they said whoever won that series was going to win the NBA title. Like, that's how good the Sixers were. They just,
right.
And I remember, and the Sixers, they still had Barkley then.
I was saying, that's a battle between Barkley and Jordan.
And yeah, they had Mahorn. I think the Sixers had Mahorn that year too. So it was Barkley and Mahorn against Jordan and Pippen. And I'll tell you what, that was a battle. I'm pretty sure. I think it might have went 7. I think it did. I think it was either 6 or 7. But I'll never forget Hersey Hawkins missed a wide open 3 that would have won them a game.
Right.
I was in high school, but I remember watching. We were watching that series because a lot of my friends were Bulls fans back in the day, and for that, the Sixers won.
Dives goes, the Sixers won because the Nets were god awful in the fourth. They stink. I hear you too.
I got one question. If I'm a Nets fan, why did they leave? Why did they leave Seth Curry on the bench the whole time? Like, if that's your best 3-point shooter.
Once they brought in, once they made that trade and Mikal Bridges and all them came in, he became a bench guy.
I don't care. He's your best 3-point shooter. Like, Steve says we would have won that series had Johnny Dawkins not gotten hurt. I believe that.
Yeah, and the funny part is that dude Joe Harris, who was not too long ago the 3-point champion, just couldn't hit the net. He was making bricks for a mansion.
I think those dudes made a business decision. Like, they were done. Like,
they know it.
You're going to see mass exodus.
They threw the white flag up in the air. They surrendered.
Yeah. I mean, towards the end, when I'm just saying it correctly. He's absolutely right. The Nets, especially in the fourth quarter, offense is just atrocious. Again.
Yeah, and
this was also a tip. The reason I feel good about it is because how many times in our lives, not just recently, But in our entire lives, have the Sixers or any Philly team at that gone in, played an inferior team, but kept things too close for comfort or lost to them
Right.
because they played down to them? They lost their big man. They knew, like, that's all the Nets have been trying to do all series long is take Joel out of the game.
Yes.
The whole step over him was they were trying to incite him.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was. My point to that is they didn't play down and they walloped them even without their X factor in Joel Embiid, because this could have been like, all right, guys, we'll get through this game. If we win, we win. We don't, we don't. We'll go back to Philly. We'll have the upper hand in home court and it'll be done with it. Right now, they could have done that, but they were smart. Like, all right, we give plenty of rest time. I mean, like I said, he could have up to 10 days rest. It could be a huge difference maker.
And that all depends really on today.
Yeah, and then listen, if we have to go with a Joel Embiid less lineup against the Celtics, yeah, I'm gulping and gulping hard.
And listen, and there's nothing wrong with gulping, but I'll take game one. They could probably take rest them for game one, but don't be surprised if Doc has a plan B in place, and the way that these B-ball Paul plays, even if you give Montreal Harris just like the little time that he's had, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes might be too much, but 5 minutes for him to get good, some couple good offensive rebounds, still throw them off their game. Still, all you need really is to have consistent shooting. If you have consistent shooting, you'll be just fine. So, and look, and they're getting their fits now by Atlanta. So, there she is. Hey, Jamie, good morning.
What's up, Joey Sullivan? I already said hi to the wife.
Oh,
I already said hi to the wife.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Looks like someone's not getting some scrambled eggs today.
That's
What's
all right.
up, Joey?
No,
Joey Sullivan?
somebody might get their eggs scrambled is more like it.
Just better go make me my money. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so dead.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, all right.
Oh, well,
She's like, you're so funny, Mike. Wait till you get home.
yeah, your clothes will be on the lawn there, buddy.
Yeah, that'd be the least of his problems right now.
I got a car to sleep in. I'm good.
But yeah, like I said, it's a good thing that the Sixers, like I said, rallied out, took care of the Nets in Brooklyn. Now they can just go rest up. Like you said, hopefully the Atlanta Hawks make a series with the Celtics and they take care of business. What's the
I'm saying if they push it to Thursday somehow, a game to Thursday, and then lose it, say Celtics win there, you're looking at the last time Joel Embiid played basketball was Friday, right? So
it would be at least 7 days.
It would be, yeah. It'd probably be at least. I mean, they're not playing on Saturday if they do that, so it's probably Sunday at the earliest, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at 8-9 days. So that's if we can get to Monday, that could be like just a gigantic difference.
Listen, the key I think for this honestly is if Atlanta wins today, then it's going automatically to Thursday at least, which means they got to go to Boston, get back on the plane, and come back to Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So can you imagine if Atlanta wins and then they got to force a game 7?
That changes a lot. You know what I mean?
Sixers will be sitting there.
Even if they win today, that gives them breathing room. That gives them momentum to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I've been watching a lot of this, man. Like I'm real surprised. Like I thought the one team from the West would be clearly able to play, and would look good in the postseason would be Golden State, man. And I'll tell you what, Sacramento's just beating them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you that was my prediction for last week. I had the Kings just, going to take this. So anyway, I mean, man, listen, I'm very excited. So who is your one takeaway through this whole series, Mike? Who is the one guy? You mentioned Tobias. Anyone else who's been like, you're like, well, I'm surprised he made, he stepped up.
Not surprised that they stepped up, but Anthony Melton, he's had key moments in this series.
I was so high on when they grabbed him in that first, and they just had to give up that first round pick because you would have never got anybody. I'm like, what a great pickup! Like, just we are. I think. Hold on. I think Steve said it earlier. Everyone has grown on the Sixers, and that's my thing. Is like,
yes,
you got new guys have grown with them. You have PJ Tucker, who is definitely playoff PJ. I mean, maybe we have to give him that moniker.
Yep.
You're right.
We all kind of kept saying that, and we're seeing that. I mean, he is all over the place, and he's scrambling dudes' eggs, as he likes to put.
Mm.
But I mean, it's the maturity level has definitely gone up, but also just the bench depth. I mean, we don't have to worry about Forcon coming out and just. I mean, he's a poor man's version of Georges Niang, as far as I'm. And Georges Niang is not that great in playoffs. So
Didn't he demand to be traded?
yeah.
Yeah, he did. He definitely went in the offense. Said, "I need to get traded." All right. Yeah, there's a YMCA team we'll take it. So, but anyway, yeah. How about you, Al? Is there somebody on the Sixers right now? You're like, wow, I'm surprised he stepped up in this series.
I mean, I guess if anybody's a surprise, would be Paul Reed. We all knew he was definitely getting better over the last month or so going into it, but getting the call up in the game 4 that you're starting.
Yeah,
We all just said, what did we all say about Paul Reed? As long as we don't want somebody to go out there, and the problem is when you would send people out there, except for maybe Drummond, when we had backup centers since Joel Embiid was our man, you would send people out there and you would just hold your breath that they don't kill the lead too much, because that's what they would do. They go out there, he come out up 10, 11, 12 points. He come back in either close to 3 or 4 points or down, and he would help them get back up, because we always needed, but if B-ball Paul might have finally found his way. I mean, of being B-ball Paul said, I always used to say, look at Paul Reed trying to do his best Joel Embiid impression, because that's what it felt like. He was trying to play just like him instead of playing like what Paul Reed can do. I mean, he gets up there, he backs it back in, he slaps it out to the guys on the perimeter. You could see the trust Harden has in him. Saw it yesterday, and apparently from all counts, it wasn't so much we were roasting Doc Rivers on B-ball Paul, but it might have been a little bit James Harden not trusting him. Hence why Dedmon came in, and Montrezl Harold and all that stuff. So, I mean, to me, if you want to say surprise, it was very surprising that he could not just step in, but he got in there and added to it. He was a plus. He wasn't. I always say I just want somebody who's going to be a non-factor. I don't want a plus or minus.
right.
Just don't lose. Just keep it where it's at. He's been a plus.
Right.
Now, granted, again, just what Dive said, it was the Nets. The Nets were god awful. But if this is the Celtics, it might be a little different. But it just makes you feel better if he does have to play time during the Celtics game. It's not going to be as, all right, well, Paul's in there. Let's just hopefully he can hold his head above water for the next few minutes.
Well, and that's the way I look at it. Like, I hear what Dives is saying. Don't get thrilled because it is B-ball, it's the Nets. But look, it's playoff experience for the guy. He's getting his feet wet. He's playing playoff basketball. Playoff basketball is going to get tough. The road's going to get even tougher. And he played well. And my player, though, who stepped up majorly, and again, why we brought him in here, has been PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker getting offensive rebounds, him directing the defensive schemes yesterday. I mean, him the way he was shouting at people. Because at first, I don't know if it was Doc's idea or I don't know what it was, but the scheme was to put him on the perimeter on defense. And without Doc, I mean, without Embiid down in the paint, you can't do that because the mismatches are, who do you have? James Harden or Maxey? Someone's going to run up on them. So you need that big body down there, and he's capable of handling his own in the paint. And that's what you need. And you just saw him he made the adjustments. He's like, listen, I'll get the paint. You guys stick the perimeter. So let's do the man-to-man coverage, and we'll shut this down. And which they did, and they came up huge. So that's who I have as my takeaway for this whole series.
Real quick, I just remind you that once the series starts back up, once we find out who we're playing, if it's the Celtics or the Hawks, those hard to get tickets will be hard to get, and I go to SherishTickets.com for them. 10% off using that great promo code EOP10. Go to SherishTickets.com. That's for sports, concerts, theaters. They are a legit company that will not bamboozle you at the end. You will know what you're paying all the way from the beginning, all the way at the end. You're not going to get some $150, $200 fees from SherishTickets.com. And you can save yourself an additional 10% off using the promo code EOP10. So you'll actually save money with them and save an additional by using the promo code EOP10. Don't forget PhillySportsTrips.com. A lot of things are sold out. The Kansas City one, of course, is next week. So I would have to check if that one's even still available. I'm sure you can get up for the if you're going to be out there, And you don't have to set up the whole trip. But if you're going to be out there already, you can probably get part of their parties still. But I'm sure it's probably hard to get on. So right now in May is only leaving you the Union and Phillies Colorado trips, and the one bus trip that's not on this list going up to Citi Field for the Union. So, and I mean, I think it's only $189. I mean, you can't beat that.
No, and they wanted
a bus trip to New York's $80, $90 easily. You know what I mean? So check it out, phillysportstrips.com. And don't forget cherryinjurylaw.com with David R. Cherry. He's a man. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, criminal law, David R. Cherry is a man. 610-565-0300. He will fight for your rights. You can check him out at cherryinjurylaw.com. And we always tell you about Dolan's over at 24 East Sellers Avenue, but I announced it last week, but I got more information this week for you. The Philadelphia Sports Day is back with Wiffle Ball Mania and the Eagles Autism Fundraiser. Charlie Manuel will be joining the group this year. That's right. Chuck is in town in Delco with Mickey Morandini. The Philly sports guy will be there as well, Hollis Thomas. And I'm being told there could be more. There could be more. So May 13th from 1 to 8, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Delco will be the epicenter of Philly sports that day. So check it out. And speaking of epicenter of sports, the epicenter for draft night is here at EOP. Check out EOPsports.com. It's live on the front page. We have a whole page for the NFL draft. Articles out about different draft prospects. Some you know, some maybe you didn't know. And they are more releasing today into tomorrow, plus all the different videos on top prospects from Dives, Shane, Mark Henry, Rob. All those guys have been doing an amazing job over the last few months of just pumping out different videos, shorts, long videos, you name it, they got you covered. So EOPsports.com, click on the draft tab, it's there for you. And we will be live. And here's our lineup. It changed a little bit as usual for the coming week because the Sully Squad will kick off Monday and kick off draft week for us here at EOP. They have a great lineup, two great guests. And then I put up there the Knicks. I forgot to take that off, but the post game, there will be no post game because they already won. I had to put it in there because I wasn't sure, so I will take that off. So there is no post game for that. Tuesday, Matty B will get at you an hour earlier from talking Philly sports with Matty B. And the attacking third shifts from Thursday because of the draft to Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. You'll have our article out from Diego just in a few moments, actually. The Fightins Final will be there for Tuesday and Wednesday. Party on Broad and Philly Press Box Radio with some great guests as well. There will be no EOP Live because we will be setting up for the draft. And then, of course, Thursday night starting at 7:30 is great draft coverage, as well as Friday on 6:30 for nights round one on Thursday and round 2 and 3 on Friday. Saturday, sit tight. Patterson and I will be there Saturday morning, as well as the Fightins Final will be back, and we will be sending out all the information as draft coverage continues via our social media. So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. TikTok, we'll have it out on all that. And then Sunday
Yes.
with PM in the AM. I believe it'll be me and Mike that day, right, Mikey?
Yeah, thank God we get a break.
Yeah. I'm about to get like a little butt with his some of his famous lines just to throw them at you. And we'll have a draft wrap-up show that day, all across live, as well as the Fightins Final will be later that night because it's primetime Sunday for baseball against. It'll be a World Series replay, Phillies Astros that weekend coming up. So sorry that was so long, guys, but I wanted to fill you in on some of the great changes. But it's all for the good because it's draft week, baby, at EOP.
And where are you going so special?
I'm going up to Rochester to go cover the Wings. I mentioned that last week.
That's right. You did say that.
You big dummy.
That's right. So that's cool. That's cool. So Pat will be on the road covering the Wings.
Maybe what time's that game at?
What, Saturday night, 7 o'clock?
Yeah, maybe call in.
No.
Tonight?
Sleep in.
Sleep off?
Sleep in.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't want you to have to get up early and then call into our show. And then, you got to give the same report to,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All lacrosse. So your best bet is just calling all lacrosse and do your little normal stick there.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I can't wait. I'm looking to get up and cover this thing. I'm excited.
It's cool, man.
I'm jonesing at the mouth. I'm ready for it. But
it's a nice little drive, though. I'm not going to
5 hours, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Listen, it's reminds me of my old indie days hitting these roads. But Let's
the old dusty trail.
Oh yeah. But
I don't even know where to go with that one. I don't even know.
Pat's going to get the same thing he got when he was in the Indies: a handshake and a hot dog, and that ain't in the same order.
oh God. But yeah, listen, Mike. We speak of Al just said it because I think Al needs a breather. The draft is here, and Mike, let's back it up some because the Eagles have been busy all week, starting Monday, because a certain quarterback got a nice little big payday. 5 years, $255 million, 179 guaranteed. Is one Jalen Hurts. What is your take on that?
It's a great deal, and if you look at it, his cap hits are so team friendly.
Yeah,
yeah. We went over that on the show on Wednesday. Like we compared Daniel Jones's 4 years to the here. Actually, go ahead, keep talking. I'll pull it up.
I was like, when I heard how much he signed for, and for 5 years, I was like, wow, okay. I'm like, all right, so his thing's gonna go up to $51 or 51 million. So I'm like, cool. Like, that's going to give the Eagles flexibility going forward. Now they can re-sign Devontae Smith. They can re-sign Dallas Goedert. They can re-sign whoever else they want to re-sign. So with that being said, like, I feel like Jalen wants to win. And think about it for a second. Look at everything he's had to overcome. All right. He got benched in a national title game, only to come back the following year and bail Tua out of it. Okay, out of a title game. Then he leaves, goes to Oklahoma, finishes runner-up to Joe Burrow in the Heisman, gets drafted by the Eagles in the second round, replaces Carson Wentz. People still doubting him, and the guy's gotten better and better. And I think he wants. I really do. I do. Like they said, he had conversations with Brady. I think his conversations with Brady. I think he's kind of molding himself.
Isn't that kind of crazy? The guy wants to be. I mean, everybody wants to be Tom Brady, but nobody will go through the Tom Brady rigmarole to do it.
And he is. Like, I think like the way it was said was like, like they were talking about it, and he basically told him like, look, dude, you'll make your money in endorsements. Say if you keep your pay at a decent. So he's like, as long as you can build a team around you. Dude.
Honestly, I think I don't even think he's endorsements. You're telling me, guys, if you think about it, I wouldn't say they're a lot alike, but from the way they handle their business, Robert Kraft to Jeff Lurie. I mean, Robert Kraft's had some issues in the past. I don't think he wants to be that connected to Robert Kraft, but what I'm saying is how they handle their business. You see it. Like, you don't think everybody sees how this works. Like, you get an extension, and I'm sure Howie says, "Don't worry about it, bro. Guess what's going to happen? In a year or two, we're going to have to restructure you." And every time he restructures, they just make more money. It just re-guarantees the money. It just turns it into bonus money or whatever, and it takes away from the cap hit. So he just plays the game here. This will be a cap hit supposedly going into 2024 and 2025. But then they just restructure it because, like they did that with Mailata. They restructured Mailata's contract, kind of went under the radar. But if you look at it, it really doesn't do much for this year. It was like $1 million. But next year, it's like 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, no, I think it's 6, almost 7, and I think the year after that's 7.5. So that's what I'm saying. It's a down the line thing, but this is how he does it. So this is how he does it. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what makes him better. And I'm going to put up the graphic I found it here. I'm going to break this down for you. There is your difference. The Jalen Hurts cap hit in 2023 through 2026 and Daniel Jones comparison. It's simple. 2023, it's a little over $6 million for Hurts. It is $21 million for Jones, almost 4 times the amount, 3.5 times the amount. In 2024, Jalen Hurts cap hit is 13.5. Daniel Jones is $45 million. That's over 3 times the amount that you would be taking a draft in 2025. Jalen Hurts, almost $22 million. 2025 for 39.5, almost $40 million, almost double. Okay. 2026, Jalen Hurts is $31.7 million, almost $32 million. And then almost double again in 2026, Daniel Jones is $56.5 million. It boggles my mind that nobody can do what he does. I don't understand this. And I'll tell you right now, you saw those later years at 20, that'll be restructured. If he's playing like we think he can play, those will be restructured again. And I guarantee there'll be less of a cap hit. And remember, the cap goes up almost like 20% every year.
Right.
So like 12% or whatever the number was. So that means the cap's going to keep going up. And that's how these guys think about it. You know, 56 million, it's not as bad this year as it will be 4 or 5 years from now. But think about $31 million. It's going to be like a bargain at the end of it.
So look, I mean, look, look, Daniel Jones got the money back, but I mean, what if last year was just a one-hit wonder for the guy? But look, we'll see in time come. But and how about some other news that kind of I don't know how people feel about this. Matt Patricia joining the coaching staff. I don't know how Slay's feeling. I don't know how now the locker room. You know, now it's just I don't know. Al, what's your take on Matt Patricia coming to the Eagles now? Does it, you know, what do you think that locker room feel? Because these guys, you know, Slay and Matt Patricia are going to have to see each other at some point around the, you know, NovaCare Center. So what's your take?
I don't know. I don't know why. I just feel like there's like about 1,000 other people who probably have done his job. He's the assistant to the, you know, I don't even know what his real title is. I heard Ray Didinger talking about it the other day. Somebody asked him the same question, and I guess he made me feel a little better. I mean, Matt Patricia was a good defensive coordinator, and a lot of good coordinators go try to be head coaches and fail miserably. And he failed miserably. You took a really bad Lions team and made him even worse. So, and some of the stuff that he did as a head coach, he was trying to do his best Bill Belichick impression and just failed. But I mean,
haven't they all though? Look at Belichick's tree. Belichick's tree. They've all failed.
Yes.
So, but I actually like it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know him and Slay had some beef in there, but do you actually think that they didn't reach out to Slay and say, "Hey, look, listen"? Sirianni
did say he actually did.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure before they brought him in, they made sure, like, "Hey, look, you guys are going to be working together." You got to remember too, man. In Detroit, they were losing. Winning changes a whole lot, man. Winning changes a whole lot.
That's absolutely true.
So, you know, and Slay's he's also in a different part of his career too. He was a younger guy back then, probably a little more hot-headed. He's a little bit more mature now, so you figure, all right, well, you know, hey, you know, I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line they're going to be talking with each other. But having Matt Patricia there, the reason why I think they have him there is to help out Sean Desai, because they're going to run multiple fronts. And Patricia, between them and the Baltimore Ravens, they're the only two that were running multiple different fronts. Sean Desai came from Baltimore. Okay. Mm-hmm. He spent time in Baltimore, so he knows about that. And Matt Patricia, of course, being in New England, they're the only two teams that ran multiple front defenses. Where, in other words, one down, they can put 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. The next one, they're doing a 4-3, and they're switching it up. So they're the only two teams that really do that. So, like I said, when one being from one being from the other, now they're working together, coming here. You know, I feel like it only helped the defense. I mean, we're not asking Matt Patricia to coach Jalen Hurts. We're asking him to coach his strong point, which is defense.
Correct.
And the guy started out, believe it or not, he started out as a defensive backs coach.
Mm-hmm. The John himself says the whole Matt Patricia thing's overblown. What's he really going to do? Now, listen, you're right. I think Matt Patricia was brought in because they're giving Desai a little help. Maybe a guy who has been a defensive coordinator to back him up.
You know what I look at it as? We have Vic Fangio here last year as a paid consultant. That's what I'd look at Matt Patricia's role. Like, I think he's going to be like, it's going to be the size show. He's just here to help out.
Right. Listen.
Plus, that gets Patricia's name back out there too again. So,
but I gotta hold on one second. I love Steve. He's one of our favorite commenters of all time. So get rid of the guy calling the Philly and hire the dude that fell for it. Sudden thoughts and second thoughts will be plenty. Second thought. Thanks for falling for it, Matt. Here's a job ?
Actually, listen, I mean, he was the defensive coordinator for New England, but he don't call the plays. That was Belichick. And Belichick was stupid anyway, because Belichick took his best weapon and didn't play him in that game. Malcolm Butler, like Eagles fans forget, and I'm a Birds fan, but you guys forget, dude. Malcolm Butler sat on the sideline the whole game. He was benched.
Yeah, it was like whatever the reason. I forget
He missed meetings.
Oh yeah,
he came in late for a meeting, so Bill benched him.
Mhm.
Okay, and Bill thought he could just slap any old body in there.
Right.
So I mean, like again, I think Patricia takes a lot of the blame.
I think I think what makes Matt Patricia so aggravating is that when he went and he coached like on his own, he felt like he didn't just fall; he fell on his face.
Yeah, he did
in a pile of shit. I mean, like it wasn't just a little bit. He fell and he fell hard.
And
then his attitude, like, did you hear like him talking to the press? Like he yelled at a guy about the way he dressed. I'm like, Matt Patricia yelled at somebody about the way he dressed,
right?
The way he talked to him. Like that's the kind of things I think that turns off people. Like you said, he's not in any position of power to make any play calling, and I think they bring him in because he worked with, let's be honest, one of the best defensive coaches of all time in Bill Belichick. So he has that experience. And he has experience as a defensive coordinator with a guy who has no experience as a defensive coordinator.
Right.
They did that with Jim Schwartz. I mean, look at that. I wholeheartedly believe, and there's stories I've been out there that when they brought in Doug Peterson, they did not expect him to last. They brought him in as, let's see how this works out.
Why do you think Schwartz was the defensive coordinator?
And he was hired prior.
Yeah, he didn't pick him.
Yeah. And here's a guy with and they probably said, listen, we're gonna try this Doug Peterson guy. If it doesn't work out, we're gonna put you in there as head coach.
No problem.
And then what happened? Second year he wins the Super Bowl.
Right.
And like that's the other thing. Look at Schwartz. He went to Detroit. He was not good either.
No.
But we can't say it was a bad defensive coordinator. We might have been annoying at times, and the bend don't break crap might have annoyed us. But he's still. I mean, the thing is, the only difference between him and Gannon at this point is
he blitzed.
Yeah,
he blitzed. Like in other words, like if he saw a quarterback sitting back there for 4 or 5 seconds, he was just like, you know what I mean?
So, like I said, it's amazing though. Like I said, I'm curious to know. I'm with you though, Matt. Like you bring a very good point.
Call me Matt again. We're going to fight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
call me Matt. What the hell? Open your eyes, man. See, that's what happens. You got the Chucky syndrome. Your brother. You close your eyes and looking at people.
But anyway,
you see, look, he's dreaming of food again.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, hopefully that's what it
is. Here goes our man Steve checking in. He goes, every great team does that unpopular smart dude that gets a consultant. Unfortunately, we made that dude a head coach in 2013.
Good point, Steve.
Yes.
Good point.
Yeah. So listen, Mike, you bring a good point. Look, it's all about winning, and using Matt Patricia to a strong suit is a defensive mindset, and bring him in here to help out. It's not a bad move. And like you said, the ultimate goal is to win. And if it doesn't work out, it's no sweat off their sack, and they can let them go. You know what I mean? It's not going to hurt them, but like I said, I think altogether they are going to win. Here goes our man Sean Kilrain checking into the program. He goes, they're going to run a 3-4, 4-3 defensive option. Two defensive mind will help each other out. Yeah. And that's what we're alluding to. That's I think it's all going to be gravy. I think it's all going to work out for the best for the Eagles. Now here goes the tough. Now, Mike, here goes the tough question. What does Howie Roseman do at number 10? Does he go running back? Does he go pass rusher? Does he go offensive line? Does he move out? What does he do? I mean, this is the number one question.
Well, here's the thing: if somebody wants that number 10 pick, they're going to pay.
I think people want that number 10 pick.
I do too. And I would not be surprised if they trade it back. Because
how far back are you talking?
thinking probably mid-teens, like 15, 16, somewhere in that
Somewhere,
area.
okay, all right.
In that area, I think they drop back a few spots. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to go into the 20s because they have that pick at 30.
Yeah.
Now, what people need to realize is this: Bijan Robinson will be there then. People also have to
I think
realize.
Bijan will be there closer to 20.
I think so
I
too.
really think he falls back that much.
Yes, because there's areas of needs that teams need that running back is really not one of them.
Mhm.
So
Unless you get one team kind of like the Giants type team who did like the Saquon Barkley thing, who was such dire need for other stuff, but they want to try to be, we say take the best player on the board, and technically Saquon was probably the best player on the board, but when you put Saquon behind a bad O line, you got what you got.
plus too, you also got to look at too with this Eagles team too is yesterday reports came out from KGB, the former defensive lineman for the Packers. He hosts was an American Ninja Warrior now.
Oh yeah.
He hosts that now, but he put it on his Twitter and he called it, pretty much calling it, saying Derrick Henry's coming to the Eagles. Now that kind of changes everything.
Yeah.
Because I still believe the Eagles can take a running back, but they can take a running back later in the draft. There's some great guys later on. And listen,
one thing, and I honestly said, if you trade back to 15, there's a chance you can still get Bijan and add on some draft capital.
I'm gonna tell you, the one kid, if they don't take a running back in the first round, right? One kid, I'm telling you now, if the Eagles are smart, if they do trade back, they will get somebody's third round pick this year. And if they do get a third round pick, I'm letting you know now, they will take Deuce Vaughn out of Kansas State. The Eagles and Kansas State running backs, they've been married to them now. They've drafted quite a few of them. Deuce Vaughn would definitely be he's another Darren Sproles. You know what I mean? So you would be able to give Boston Scott.
I love that's the kind of that was more maybe Doug Peterson. I wonder. I mean, they have Boston Scott. I would like a big bruiser back. Believe me.
I think Sermon's going to be your big bruiser back.
A guy like Bijan on paper is everything I want, but not in this.
You don't want him that high.
That's my point. Like,
so to answer your question, I think if they don't trade out of 10, it really kind of all depends. Because listen, we already know somebody who's projected to go top 10 is going to fall.
Right.
It happens every year. And somebody who isn't projected to go top 10, some team like the Raiders are going to go in there and say, hey, I know this guy was supposed to be at no, I'll use the kid from Georgia. What is it? Nolan, hell's his name? Nolan
Smith.
Nolan Smith. He's projected to go top. He's projected as between 10 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the Raiders doing Raiders things and going, oh, we got the number 5 pick. We're going to take him, where they could have traded back and got something for him. You know what I mean? I could see them doing it because it's always somebody.
Unless they are mindset on taking Bijan, they move out of 10. I think they move back. Agreed.
I mean, a lot of people got him taking him. A lot of people got him taking Skoronski too. I don't think Skoronski's going to be there. I really don't. I think
Paris
Campbell.
I kind of like him too.
I like him better. I like him better than Skoronski because Skoronski
doesn't have the short arms.
Well, no, he can play guard, but you don't really.
Well, I'm saying Skoronski, the one big on his arms comparatively.
Yeah, but you know what though, Skoronski can play all 5 positions. Where I think
they do like that.
Campbell can play guard and tackle. But how many guys do you need to play all 5 positions? You got Landon Dickerson who can play all 5 positions too.
Right.
On your line, you got Cam Jurgens who can play down the line as well. So you don't need that many guys to have to, keep moving. And sooner or later, you got to start drafting for Lane's replacement. Lane's probably going to get another 2 years.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
It's funny you say that because, we were talking about, I think it was when they were 5-0, 6-0, the Eagles. And I was talking to Joe Sheeran about it on my show, and he goes, I know it's early, but we always do this little thing where we look ahead of the draft and knowing that they have that 10, and knowing how the Saints were not doing well, and we're just there's a good chance this is going to be a good spot for us. We were thinking at that point it could be top 5 the way they were playing. But we're looking at it, and I said, he goes, if this is a luxury pick, Al, well, what do you do with it? And I said, I look for a right tackle in the future. If there's a guy out there who can be a generational talent in that area, because we all know what this team looks like without Lane.
That's what I'm saying.
And that is a huge difference.
Like that dude went out and just dominated with it up.
Now, if there's somebody in the draft for next year that you think could be as good or better, then you don't have to hit that right tackle panic button just yet. But I mean, you can always get somebody in a later round that they really like. We all know what what's his name? I just completely blanked out his name.
Mailata.
No, the offensive court or the line coach.
Oh, Stoutland.
Thank you. I just had a brain fart. That's why it smells like that over here. But
oh, I thought it was me.
But yeah. But that's my point. Is like I just don't. I want to, but because I mean, unless they take some of next year's, they move back and get a couple spots, or they take some of next year's and package them up and move up to this draft. Because, like I said, they have 12 next year, and they're not taking 12. They're not taking 10. They'll probably take 8, right? So
they got a lot of compensatory picks.
Yeah, so I said they got like 4. They got like 4. They could probably take 4 picks next year and package those things up and move up into this draft.
If you're looking at it right now, they have 2 2s for next year, 1 1, 2 2s, 3 3s right now.
Steve, good point. You make Juan Castillo our offensive coordinator. They've done that. They've done dumb things like that. So that was Andy Reid's last year too.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He was
like,
already
I'm
fired.
He's already like barbecue.
Green Bay and Tampa. What would Green Bay want with that? I mean,
I saw a report though.
Quarterback. I'm just gonna. I already have a lot. I guess
that the Houston Texans would make a trade with the Birds.
Yes,
and drop 10.
Yes,
well, they got the 12.
Yeah. I've also.
Well, Houston has 2 picks in the first round, right?
They do, but
Okay.
they have their pick, and then they got Miami's. Is it? I think it's Miami's for the Larry Tunsil trades.
Sean, I agree with you. Penny
They got one from Cleveland.
Rashad Penny is injured. I mean, could you imagine? Let me just throw this out here for you real quick. If Rashad Penny just stays healthy, let's just 50% of the second half or whatever you want to say. If he stays healthy with this O-line and they get either a Bijan or either they do something where the whole what's his name from the Titans? Henry. If they get that deal, put one of those guys in there behind our line. I mean, that's all I gotta say. You know, I'm like Pat right now thinking about hot dollar dog night.
Oh, I mean, listen, I that's what made me like kind of look at this because like it was making its rounds yesterday with about Derrick Henry. Can you imagine the RPO game? Woo! Him and Hurts, like.
It's gonna be on.
Dude, that offensive line would be salivating. And like, listen, I know we lost Sam Howell, right? But everybody really thinking right like that Cam Jurgens is just going to slide right in there. I don't think so. I think I would put Jack Driscoll over there.
I mean, the guy could play center. I feel can play guard. I'm not just saying like, oh, well, guards are lesser or whatever.
True, but I feel like he's a little undersized. You know what I mean? Like Driscoll's a few inches taller, a couple pounds heavier. And Driscoll can play guard and tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's a veteran. Like as much as we want to put this in there,
yeah,
I'll save Cam for when Jason retires. Like
sure,
that's what we got you for.
And by the way, Pat, I got you set up now. Do me a favor.
What's that?
Just think about Dollar Dog Night for 1 second.
Oh,
you ready? One more time. Do it one more time.
Oh.
I got you lined up.
Okay.
We just went from whatever live viewers down to like 2.
Just went from PJ to rated X. That's TVMA.
But no, I think there's more to it. Like I think they could trade back twice because there's always that one team that is going to be picking day 2 early on that wants to, trade back up into the first round, and that's where I think the Eagles can get some draft capital this draft.
Right. Well, here goes one too. Someone else had what's his name? That kid Pete something from Northwestern. Fallen to the Birds as well.
No,
as
Sharansky.
Yeah.
He's not falling. He'll never see the Birds. The 2 guys in the top 10 that the Birds will never see.
Well, if he's there, would you?
Anderson?
No, 3.
Yeah.
I forgot him.
Yeah.
Anderson, Carter, and Sharansky are not seeing the Birds.
Here's my thing: is the only thing that plays in their factor if they stay at 10 is that I believe wholeheartedly there'll be at least 4, but most likely 5 quarterbacks taken before them. That's the only plus side. That means the top 5 non-quarterback players in the draft.
You got the 5 QBs, right?
Yeah.
Then you take a look at it. You have Anderson, Carter, Sharonsky. There's 8 right there, and one of the cornerbacks, whether it be Witherspoon or Gonzalez. That right there, there's your top 10 right there. There's 9. I just don't see him. I don't see him getting paid. I don't see Sharonsky. To be honest with you, as much as we like to rip on the Raiders, I wouldn't be surprised if they took him. You know what I mean? But you're looking at Anderson's probably either going to go to Houston or Arizona, and then you got Carter's probably going to hit. I don't think he gets past Seattle at 5. You know what I mean? So, and then the rest of them were all quarterbacks. So you have, was it Stroud, the kid from Alabama, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson.
There was another guy that they slid up there too.
Hendon Hooker. Yeah, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I mean that like it always seems to be that way. There's always that quarterback.
Yeah, Tennessee.
The people are like, oh, it might be a late round, late first, maybe second. He's got good upside, but
and then all of a sudden,
somehow he's like top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, plus you have certain guys that might be on the move too. Like I don't know, I've been hearing rumors too. Like, maybe Arizona might be looking to move on from Kyler Murray.
Listen, wouldn't that be the way? You sign him some ridiculous contract that has to put less video game time, more film time, and then you're going to try to trade him with that bloated contract? Get out of here.
So, look, Mike, besides obviously Dies and his great team, and I know, Bill Furman, and I know Jed, I rank as one of the high college football guys here. So, I mean, I don't think. I mean, listen.
I like how he said other than these 8 other dudes.
Yeah.
And then
no. I mean, but I can't put them all in the same, college football.
I know you're saying. I had to take.
Yes, yeah. Hey, listen, you've been taking shots on me.
Yeah, you forgot. You forgot. Let's see, probably Joey Marks. You probably forgot Joe Sheeran.
I mean, I know
who.
Freddie's good college.
I mean, just
Joey Marks. I love him. I was watching him yesterday. He cut this wrestling promo yesterday. I
he was great.
He was. He was awesome.
He was great. Well, I watched the whole show yesterday.
He was scared of The Rock.
Dude, listen, Joey was cutting promos on Jonathan Gannon.
Yes, you saw that.
It was great. Like I was sitting there, and I just literally wrote. I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "It must be a."
Dude, I need him for a wrestling manager.
Right?
You know what I mean? He's great. So you look at it though. If you are thinking, like Al said, to replace Jones, what's it called? God, I can't even think of his name right now. Lane Johnson right now. I mean, do you go? Okay, you said Pete don't fall to you. Do you go Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State? Where do you go?
Johnson would be my next one up there. Like I think Johnson would be the ideal replacement for Lane. He could come in, he could work with Lane.
Mm-hmm.
And now you take a look at it. If Lane should step off into the sunset in a couple of years, you have Mailata on one side and then Paris Johnson on the other side. Like, the kid is just, and he's a beast.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So you would have both of them as your bookend.
6'6", 313
But think about it. You would have Cam Jurgens, okay? You'd have Jurgens on one side. You could still have Jack Driscoll could be that wily vet by then, and he can play. You would have Johnson, Driscoll, Cam Jurgens as your center, Landon Dickerson, and then Jordan Mailata.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the line doesn't. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Some other French fried potatoes.
Wow. Pat almost lost it there. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be a great line to run behind. Even Derrick Henry at 31 could probably still run for 1,000 yards behind that line.
Yeah, well, look, we'll see what the Birds do Thursday night, but it's just about time for us to wrap up here. And guys, stay up later today. I don't know. Listen, your Philadelphia Wings have about a 10% chance of making the playoffs. But you can catch me later tonight, 9 o'clock, with All Across All the Time. We will be breaking down all the action this past weekend with Gary Double G, Gary Group. You can catch Muffler Mike and Sean. So
by the way, I need to point this out. We'll talk about it a little further. I might have Gary call in maybe at one point or send us a video. The man, we've talked about this before, and we've been planning for this for a while, but he was invited to Prague to cover lacrosse for a big international lacrosse tournament, and he's going. So we'll have more information on that. So our man here at EOP Sports, All Across Live, will be doing that, and there's more to come. And he sent me this whole thing the other day about it, and I would rather have him tell it because I'll probably butcher the hell out of it because I know nothing about lacrosse. I know how to play lacrosse to a point because my son played and I had to help keep score to do something during the game.
Right.
But that's about as far as it goes. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, he was up in the press box yesterday in Buffalo. I mean, the dude is a well-traveled man.
My point to that is that we literally have the premier lacrosse coverage.
Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly, I know ESPN has started covering it. I think they have the Premier League there or something or Fox or one of them or both. Like, we have the guy. I mean, the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League reaches out to him. Asked him to come to the draft. They wanted him there. He didn't even ask. They asked him.
He's a workhorse.
I mean, they all are. And it's not just
right.
Sean does an amazing job. Mike does an amazing job too. I'm not putting anything past them. But I've had a few years to work with him before even Sean or Muffler were part of the team, and I just don't know if he sleeps at all,
dude.
I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, and I don't think he ages. I think he's a Dracula.
A Dracula?
Yeah.
A Dracula. Yeah, we need to go home.
Yeah.
Take it home.
Real quick, before we go home, remember, go to sherrystickets.com for those hard-to-get tickets. 10% off using the promo code EOP10. sherrystickets.com for great sports, concerts, and theater events. No hidden fees. Great price. You know it. And use 10% off by going promo code EOP10. If you get yourself hurt at work, hurt in a car accident, personal injury, criminal law, CherryInjuryLaw.com, 610-565-0300. Call David R. Cherry for all your legal needs. That's CherryInjuryLaw.com, or call him simply at 610-565-0300. And like I said, the Philly Sports Trips lineup is shrinking for the rest of it, not running up to the summer, but there's plenty of summer events. I have a new graphic for it very soon. But you can still sign up for the May trips for Denver for both the Union and for the Phillies, and also the bus trip to Citi Field in New York. Watch them take on the New York FC or whatever. I'm not sure how they say it, FC New York. And we always talk about Dolan's, but this one I'm using today because Philadelphia Sports Day is back May 13th from 1 to 8, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Charlie Manuel, that's right, World Series coach Charlie Manuel will be there. Mickey Morandini, Philly sports guy, and of course, Tank Hollis Thomas himself will be there. Don't forget the EO, like we've been saying it. Draft coverage starts tomorrow. I mean, it's already started, but like the big push starts tomorrow here at EOP. Go to EOPsports.com, click on the draft link for all the draft stories that are coming. We got about 4 coming out today, 4 more tomorrow. Also, Diego's article on the Union's win last night is also up there on the site. But here is the lineup as of right now. I already went through it earlier, but we will have it posted. But it's going to be live draft coverage here at EOP Sports all week long. My wife already went over my schedule for next week. So what days are you eating home? I'm like, how about none?
Hey, listen.
Yeah, my article will be hopefully up for the Phillies Rocky series.
We'll have that ready after the end. A lot of
actually, great. You'll have it probably by the end of this game. So first 3 games are already done.
That didn't have the the whip in hand ready.
I feel like it's like that meme with the Undertaker standing style is just like Scotty B and the rest of us in the EOP.
Yeah, pretty much. I try to get it done because I don't want to.
I'm knocking.
It's actually a great idea to just take a couple notes in each game because that way, then you just kind of do a tie together paragraph and you're good to go. Because I tried doing it the other way and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. So yeah, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, so listen, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Go Phillies.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Who do you?
Oh man, well, you know what, Mike? I got messed up because I had a bee whop me in the eye. Just stung me right in the eye on Friday, man. Just laid into me. But that's besides the point. Today is going to be a good pasta day. I can feel it. I'm going to get laid up with some
Dude,
good.
do you never eat anything but pasta? This is like the 4th time in a row. I feel like
On Sundays. The Sundays are
It's an
very.
Italian thing.
I
man.
know. I am. I'm
Yes,
Italian. I know.
yes.
It's an
I'm just saying.
Italian thing.
I want chicken parmesan, the big thick piece of chicken. I'm going to wallow it all up.
So you're having chicken parm. What kind
Yeah.
of pasta you having?
Oh, dude, you got to go.
Did you say spaghetti? I'm throwing this at you across.
No,
the
you got to go. The rigatoni noodles.
rigatoni.
Penne.
Yeah, the big holes.
Big holes. Never mind. We should just end it on that one. I'll cut that. Cut that. Cut that.
There we go. We'll add that to the opener.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
We'll have at the end. Yeah, the big holes.
anyway, Mike, what are you having?
You know, I haven't decided yet, but I think might be doing something along those lines as well.
With big holes?
No,
Oh,
little holes for me.
Oh.
I'm watching my pasta intake, so I might do a little more chicken based. So it all depends on what the home foreman wants to do.
I'm thinking pork. Got a pork loin, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do like just a pork meal, or I might slice it down real thin and make a nice pork sandwich. I haven't decided yet.
that's a good
I'll
point.
make that decision on the way home when I'm thinking about my pork.
Oh,
Pat's ready to pull his pork.
Yeah. Speaking of,
I'll pull
we're
pork.
gonna pull the show now, guys.
Yes.
Thanks
Have
to
a
our
good
great sponsors. Thanks, Mike, and Pat, I guess too.
Yes.
Have a good one, guys.